Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really tough topic, one that can feel incredibly isolating. What do you do when your co-parent's new partner is hostile? It's a situation that can make you feel completely powerless, but I'm here to tell you, you are not. This Explainer is all about getting you a guide to navigate this. So let's get right to it. What happens when that new partner's behaviors goes from just being difficult to something that feels a lot more like harassment? It's such a blurry, stressful line, right? Well, in this Explainer, we are going to make that line sharp, clear, and understandable. All right, let's get started. We're going to build a roadmap together, one that takes you from the absolute chaos of a high-conflict situation and moves you toward the clarity you need to protect yourself and your family. Now, this is the most important place to start. What you're going through, it is not just drama. So many people will try to dismiss it that way. But when the behavior is persistent, when it's intimidating, when it causes real distress, that's a pattern. And that pattern has legal weight and very, very real consequences. So how do we actually define that pattern in a way that matters? See, to get control of this, you have to move past the emotional storm for a minute and anchor yourself in the facts and in the law. This is where you really start to find your power. Okay, this slide right here, this is our anchor. We're using a specific legal standard just as an example, but look at the definition of harassment. Notice those key phrases: without good cause, purpose to frighten or intimidate, and substantial emotional distress. This isn't about being overly sensitive. It's an objective standard. So let's break down what judges are actually looking for. First, they want to see a pattern, not just one bad day or a single angry text. And this is crucial. You don't need an explicit threat. Case law shows that their actions alone can prove their intent. And get this, courts have even recognized that flooding the system with frivolous lawsuits can be its own form of harassment. Okay, now that we have the legal stuff down, let's look at the two very different paths co-parenting can take. On one side, you've got a healthy, protective dynamic, and on the other, a harassing, abusive one. Honestly, when you see them side by side like this, the red flags become impossible to miss. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at the difference under purpose. Is the goal to serve the child, or is it to win and to punish you? And pay really close attention to partner's role. In a healthy setup, they're supportive, but basically invisible. In an abusive one, they become intrusive, intimidating, and controlling. And here's what that looks like in a text message. Wow. The message on the left is factual. It's businesslike. You can't really argue with it. But the one on the right, it's just loaded with accusations, bait, and threats. It's not designed to solve anything. It's designed to start a fight. So let's get specific. Here are the red flags to watch for when a co-parent's partner gets involved. It's more than just nasty texts. It's showing up at custody exchanges just to intimidate you. It's stalking your social media. And it's that coordinated paper abuse, filing motion after motion, not because they think they'll win, but to drain your bank account and your will to fight. These are calculated tactics. Now, there's a name for one of the most common and, frankly, most confusing tactics they use. Just knowing what it's called is the first step to disarming it. It's an acronym, DARVO. So, DARVO stands for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. It's a playbook. First, they deny what they did. Then, they attack you for even bringing it up, calling you crazy or unstable. And finally, they completely reverse the roles, claiming that they are the real victim here of your complaints. It's classic gaslighting, and thankfully, the legal system is getting much better at spotting it. Okay, we've defined the problem, we've identified the tactics. Now, let's talk about the solution. This section is all about building your protective toolkit, the real, concrete, strategic things you can do to build your case and protect your peace. Your single most powerful tool is documentation. This slide is your checklist. And I mean detailed documentation. Don't just save a text, take a full screenshot that shows the time and date. Don't just say they filed something in court, document the date and, more importantly, the outcome, especially if it was dismissed. Every single item here helps you build a factual record that a judge can't ignore. So you might be wondering, how does all this prove what they were thinking? Well, you don't have to read their mind. The pattern of their actions proves their intent for you. Like it says here, one unwanted text might be a mistake, but 47 texts after you've clearly said stop, that's not a conversation. That is proof of an intent to disturb your peace. Okay, so you've gathered your evidence. Now what? Here's the strategy in court. You file for a protective order. You ask the judge to limit all communication to a monitored app. You organize everything into a detailed exhibit log. You give a clear, simple timeline to the guardian ad litem, that's the advocate for your child, and you file for contempt the moment a court order is violated. See, you're no longer just reacting. You are presenting a structured, professional case. And this is what that actually looks like in a court document. I know the language seems really formal, but look closely. It's using the exact words from the legal definition we saw earlier: sustained course of conduct, purpose to frighten. This isn't just an emotional complaint, it's a precise legal argument. In this day and age, so much of this harassment happens online, so your digital defense is absolutely non-negotiable. This slide gives you the essential checklist: two-factor authentication on everything. Lock your social media down to private. And this one is huge. Create a brand new email address used only for legal communication. Get the harassment out of your everyday inbox. Okay, let's bring this all home and focus on the ultimate goal here. Because beyond all the legal strategy and the documentation, this isn't really about winning a fight. It's about building a fortress of safety and resilience for you and, most importantly, for your child. This is why it all matters so much. This table shows the two futures your child is facing. On one path, they feel safe and valued. They can focus at school, they learn what healthy relationships look like. But on the other path, they're filled with anxiety, they're torn by loyalty battles, and they're at risk of repeating these toxic patterns in their own lives later on. The stakes are just so incredibly high. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. All of these tools, the documentation, the court filings, the passwords, they aren't weapons to win a war. They are tools to build a wall that creates a safe, stable, and predictable space where the conflict finally stops and your child gets the peace they need to just be a kid. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After everything we've gone over, from saving one screenshot to changing one password, what is the very first manageable step you can take today? Because building that wall of resilience, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens one brick at a time, starting right now.